Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Now, while some people out there are saying that the Aggies got lucky against Alabama, and they'd be lucky to go 8-4 or 7-5, I've seen that out there from people that actually think that they know what they're talking about. I'm going to ask you guys, and this is not the question of the day, but I'm just going to start the show with it. Who are the real Aggies? The ones that took it to Alabama, or the ones that the week prior could not stop Mississippi State? I think they're trending toward that team that beat Bama, but I've got to see it on a more consistent basis. They've got to show me against an inferior opponent. And with that, we begin the Go Hour with my buddy Olin Buchanan, our Heisman Trophy voter and TexAgs columnist. OB, are the Aggies more like the team that beat Bama, or more like the team that we saw in the weeks leading up to the Alabama game?
I truly believe they're more like the team that beat Alabama because let's not forget, we expected coming into the season A&M to be a strong football team, a top 10 type football team. And they had the injuries, and they're starting to get a little healthy, and they figured out some things. For instance, I think one of the big things they figured out is Reuben Fothery, who's playing a really good right tackle. So I'm not saying they're going to be as good as they were against Alabama every week. I think Mike Elko called an amazing game on defense, but I thought he had a flawed plan against Mississippi State, and I think they could have won that game had they been more aggressive. So I just think they're figuring things out, So I think that they're more. I think they're going to prove to be more likely closer to the team that you saw against Alabama than the team that you saw against Colorado or Arkansas. So
if they're more like the team that was that beat Alabama, does that mean that they should be favored the rest of the way?
I don't know. The road game at Ole Miss, first of all, you're 3 points dog just for being on the road.
Yep.
And let's see what Ole Miss does the rest of the year. I think they're going to be able to move the ball against Ole Miss. Are they going to be able to stop them? And the secondary has been kind of up and down, surprisingly. But
injuries there too.
Yeah, I think that A&M, if you go week to week, and they continue to show improvement, there's a very good chance that will be the case, that they will be favored in every game. But you gotta build on it. I think, we talked about earlier this week. I think the worst thing that A&M can do now is take the attitude that, hey, we beat Alabama, we're going to beat everybody, or we can beat anybody since we beat Alabama. No, and it is what Jimbo Fisher was always right after the game was trying to stress. Don't focus so much on beating it that you beat Alabama. Focus on what you did to beat Alabama.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. I believe that beating Alabama at least let us know this team is capable of all the things we talked about in the offseason. But by beating Alabama, now we're going to hold them to a higher standard than we were holding them 2 weeks ago when they lost to Mississippi State.
Well, I think if you go back since 2008, and if you looked at every team that beat Alabama since 2008, they've all been really good football teams.
Right.
Even the South Carolina team that beat them, and people are comparing A&M's win to that South Carolina win. I think it was in 2010, maybe. Alshon Jeffrey had a big game. Steven Garcia had a big game. Even that team, I believe, if my memory serves, went to the SEC championship game, I think. So, but I know it was one of those good Steve Spurrier teams. So, bad teams don't beat Alabama. So that's right there is enough reason to say, yeah, I think A&M is closer to becoming that really good team we expected them to be, because bad teams don't beat Alabama.
Let's do this. Let's set the topic out there, and we will discuss it here. What are the headlines going to be after the Missouri game? We do that on Fridays here. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can call the BCSI hotline at 979-693-1150, or you can text the A&B text line, Real Texas Bank, and that same number, 979-693-1150. We usually don't get callers right off the top, but let's go to the BCSI hotline. Brad and Brennan wants to talk a little bit about the Aggies' victory over Alabama. Welcome to the show, my friend. Thank you.
Hi, Brad.
Yes. Hey, guys. Hey, I would think we all know that they're trending to be, the talent is there to be more trending toward Alabama's potential, just because that the rest of the nation said, well, they lost 2 games. They're an unranked team, but we all know the talent's there. We're just waiting for it to all kind of come together. But also, guys, I wanted to ask you, like going forward, there may not be as many dominant teams because the attention span is so short with people today that the discipline it takes may not be there like the years of Alabama's past. And I think Saban may not be there much longer at Alabama because did you guys notice at the end of the first half when it was about 1:30 left and they got the Alabama had the ball, they had the false start, they had to punt back to A&M, and they got it around the 10-yard line, I think. A&M just ran a play up the middle, and Alabama didn't take any of their timeouts. And even Jimbo looked kind of a little surprised on the sideline. Even Gary Danielson said, surprised Alabama didn't take their 3 timeouts to make A&M punt it back to them around midfield with a minute left. Well, Saban comes off the field. Sideline reporter even asked that, and it went right over his head. He goes, well, we didn't need the timeout. He was thinking they were asking about his drive stalls, like if he'd have got a first down before the penalty, he would have started using them under a minute, is what he said. Us, the announcers, and the sideline reporter was like, no, we meant like when you punt it back to him, you could have maybe got the ball back with a minute left, and it's like it went over his head. Are those the early signs of dementia starting?
I think A&M frazzled Saban, and they at that point they were taking it to him. It was a taking to it, and I think he was completely frazzled at that point.
Well, I think so. And when you've got so many things going on, maybe you're not thinking of certain things, but there's also the very real possibility that he was just wanting to get out of the half, go into the locker room and regroup. And the guy who had the onset of dementia had a 38-31 lead with 5 minutes to go after being behind by 2 touchdowns at halftime. So I tend to think that he's probably one of those, let's don't screw up anything else any worse. Let's get out of this half, regroup, and then see what we can do in the second half.
Brad, we appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. All right, Brad, there on the BCSI hotline. I still want to get into in this segment 3 things that I want to see. If we can fit it in, we'll see about that. But let's go to the News and Social Center. Tomas Romo's there. Good morning to you, Tomas.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Yeah,
Good.
Hanging in there?
Yeah, I like your shirt, though.
Thank you. Go Astros. Today, Alabama travels to Ellis Field. Texas A&M soccer celebrates senior night when they host the Alabama Crimson Tide on Friday evening. First kick at Ellis Field is slated for 7 p.m., and the Aggies are 8-3-1 all time against Alabama.
Man, that team needs a victory. I know they got one last week against LSU. They definitely need this one right now. What else you got for us, Tomas?
Number 18 Aggies head to Missouri. Texas A&M looks to ride the momentum of the historic win over Alabama as the Aggies head to Columbia to battle former Big 12 foe Missouri on Saturday morning.
I'm not worried about this game, but I always have a little healthy worry when you go on the road against a team that, by the way, they don't play like Mississippi State because they have a running game, but they have a quarterback who makes quick decisions like Mississippi State.
Yeah. What's the old cliche? Fear none, respect all.
Right.
And I think that's I'm confident in the Aggies this week, but there's always going to be a certain amount of things that make you uncomfortable. And I think with Missouri, you start out with the fact that they've got a quarterback that throws the ball pretty well, and your secondary's been up and down.
They got an offense that can move. They do. They can absolutely move it. They play well at home. They're a team that I know struggles on the defensive side, but I yet haven't seen a dominant run performance from A&M.
Okay, that's fair. I think you might see it this week.
I hope you do.
As they figure things out with their offensive line, and I think they have. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's dominant and it's like last year, but I think it's rounding into being a pretty effective offensive line. So, but again, I think this team is good enough, obviously, to beat anybody on its schedule.
Yep.
I don't think it's good enough to assume that you're going to beat any SEC team on your schedule.
I agree. And this is a good time for a segue, by the way. 3 things I want to see. I'll try to knock them out real quick, and OB will have a few as well. We talked about that running game. You know what I want to see? I want to see 300 yards rushing. I know that's asking for a lot. I don't care. It's what I want to see. Yeah. It's my choice. I want to see.
It's their average they allow.
180 from Spiller.
Okay.
120 from A-Chain. Some variation of that, right?
Okay.
Maybe we'll get 200 from Spiller. Maybe we go 150, 150. I want 300 yards rushing. And sure, there's other guys. Maybe Zach gives us some running as well. Speaking of Zach, we're going to have his father on the show, Tico Calzada, at 8:35. Looking forward to that. So that's the first thing I want to see. Second thing I want to see is a quick lead. Get up, don't stop. You go on the road, you want to get up, silence that place and hit them in their mouth early on. And again, it's my vision, my dream for this weekend. I would like to see another special teams or defensive touchdown. Give me some points that the offense can use as momentum, or they don't have to do all the work when it comes to the scoring.
Okay. I want to see a strong pass rush. I want to see at least 2 interceptions.
I like that a lot.
And I want to see Missouri held to fewer than 100 yards rushing.
I like that
so
too.
You see, everything that I want to see is on defense because I'm that confident that A&M is going to move the ball against Missouri offensively. So if my defense is playing really well again and putting Bazelak under pressure, and he can't rely on his running game, and he's under pressure and he starts throwing interceptions, and I get a short field, I think A&M could have a chance to win it very, very comfortably.
I like that. Again, I am still fearful because I haven't seen the offense do it, A, on the road really, and B, consistently. But I saw so much last week that I'm like, I think they figured it out. I think the players are in a groove, and hopefully that translates into an on-the-road victory. But we'll have to wait and see.
I could easily have thrown in that I'd like to see Zach Calzada continue that momentum.
You know what? I'm just expected. How about that? We're just expecting Zach to continue to
slay.
He
doesn't have to be as brilliant as he was. You hope he is. He was absolutely brilliant against Alabama. He doesn't have to be that guy. If he is effective, that'll be good enough. But hopefully he's brilliant.
Yeah, I hope so. And we'll continue this dialogue here on TexAgs Radio, presented by Dave Gardner's Jewelers. When we come back, we'll do a little pick six action, giving and taking the points, baby. The vocabulary has been memorized. But right now, a moment for my friends at the Association of Former Students. Got a great crew over there. Porter Garner just runs an amazing ship out there. Do you know that the association is the oldest organization serving A&M in support of that Aggie network? They've been doing it forever. Talking 140 years beyond that, actually. The gifts from that Aggie network have empowered the association to be here, there, and everywhere. For a few years, I just kind of forgot to renew. Just, call me a loser for those few years, but I'm a winner again. I renewed. I've got the sticker. I've got it all. And I really appreciate what the Association of Former Students does for so many different organizations around campus and just people tied to A&M. They do a great, great job. For $100 a year, $9 a month, you can get the decal, the plaque, and the Texas Aggie magazine. Plus, you're continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies. To learn more about the impact of the association, get involved, make a gift. Visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
For the complete contest and prize rules for 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, visit zone1150.com.
No. Come get it.
Join the American Heart Association for the Brazos Valley Go Red for Women Luncheon. On Thursday, November 4th, you'll learn how you can take charge of your heart health and empower others to do the same. Guest speaker is well-known humorist and motivational speaker Sally Baskey. Go Red for Women is presented nationally by CVS Health and locally by the Donald A. Adam Family Foundation. Go to brazoscountygored.heart.org for more. See you November 4th.
The small Texas town of Llano is where it all began. The Wooten family created Cooper's old-time pit barbecues, mouth-watering recipes, and cowboy-style cooked barbecue. Decades later, you can still get the same great recipes, cooked exactly the same way by the same family, right here in College Station. Dine in, curbside pickup, or catered. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's old-time pit barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M athletics.
People join Walk MS to raise awareness and funds that change the world for everyone affected by multiple sclerosis. MS attacks the brain and spinal cord. It's the most common neurological disease leading to disability in young adults. Walk MS brings communities together, creating teams with friends, loved ones, and coworkers to rally around those we care about and end MS forever. Join us. Together we are stronger. Walk MS fundraising accelerates research breakthroughs and life-changing breakthroughs. It will take all of our passion, determination, and fundraising to end MS forever. Together, we can change the world for people with MS. Join us. Register today, start a team, and raise funds at walkms.org.
If you missed the Louie Bellina show, you missed.
You kind of get in a routine, just like when you wake up, you brush your teeth or whatever you do first. Like, we're all creatures of habit and routine. At some point, like, you do things a certain way. So when we travel, we like to create that. But I also am one, you have to be able to adapt and adjust. So if, like, our flight got messed up on the way to Tennessee, so we ended up flying way longer and whatever happened, so we had to change our practice, push it back. You have to still be able to adapt and adjust to things like that, because in sports, that's what happens. You know what I mean? Especially in volleyball. It's not like, yes, you have your goals of how you want it to look, but 9 times out of 10, it's crazy and sporadic, obviously, when you're watching it. So,
oh, sure. You got your schedule, and your schedule sometimes is really just a suggestion.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it kind of, you have to set routines, but then be ready to adjust out of them.
Listen to Louie from 11 to 2 weekdays on The Zone. Brought to you in part by Rudy's Barbecue.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And I want to remind you guys, all guests that come on the show, join us on the BCSI hotline. You can call them at 979-701-2020 and mention that TexAgs have sent you there for a free LASIK consult, $400 off of your custom LASIK surgery. So if you're thinking about that LASIK, that's the way to go. Dr. K does such a great job. Huge Aggie. Loves him some Aggies. We'll text back and forth during games and afterwards. He is just a big fan of what Jimbo and company are doing. I do want to go to the A&B text line before we do our Pick 6, OB, and I want you to answer this question. I gave a quick answer on text, but I want you to kind of discuss it a little bit more. How long do you think it should take to build a championship football program? Do you think Fisher is ahead, behind, or on time for his program development? You want me to tell you what I said?
Yeah.
I basically said I think he's on track, understanding that there's ebbs and flow to talent coming and leaving a program. Also, they were on track last year, potentially for a championship if they weren't screwed.
Yeah, I would say I think they're probably ahead of schedule, to be honest. Now, the injuries were an issue, and last year, I think it would have been really interesting last year had they been able to play their original schedule.
Yep.
You know, that wasn't, because they were supposed to play Alabama next to the last game. And A&M was a better team at the end of the year than they were early in the year.
Sure.
But, you know, you had those kind of things happen. And here's another thing I'd say on that. I think there's so many factors that go into winning a championship. There's a lot of luck involved, too. I think what you look for is a championship caliber team. And then if you can maintain a championship caliber program for several years, for the long haul, then, you know, the chances are that things are going to work out for you. I mean, it took Dabo Swinney, I think, 8 years. When I was in Austin, Mac Brown was hired, I think, in 98, and didn't win a national or a conference championship till 2005. So it took him 7 or 8 years. So I'm seeing A&M get to a point where, you know, they're beating Alabama. Again, I don't think they would have beaten Alabama at any time last year because Alabama was just that good. Yep. But I do believe had they played later in the year, it would have been much more competitive. I thought it had a chance to be competitive last year. So as he continues to recruit better, I think he's ahead of schedule because I think they're right on the brink of it right now.
Sure. And I'll also add this. When the Chicago Bulls were playing, you know, you could be an excellent team, a championship caliber team, but you just weren't beating Mike when it mattered, right? Saban is having that kind of run right now to where It's Alabama, really. I know Clemson has had their day, right? But it's really Alabama and everybody else, historically, what we've seen over the last 15 years, or last 13 years at least.
I think Kirby Smart has built Georgia into a championship caliber program.
Sure.
And this looks like the year it all falls his way, unless they mess it up. So I think that's what you're looking. I think that's what I'm trying to say. You want to get to that point where you are a championship caliber program year in and year out, Ohio State.
Right.
And then on certain years, it's going to fall your way.
Hopefully so. All right, let's do this pick six. Number 21, Texas A&M, 4-2, 1-2 in the SEC at Missouri, 3-3, 0-2 in the SEC, 11 a.m. kickoff there on the SEC network. A&M favored by 8.5 points.
Yeah, I'll take the Aggies. I expect them to run the football, and I think they're going to give up some points. But that A&M defense hasn't given up more than 24 points all year.
Yeah,
I think they can score in the 30s against.
I think they can as
against Missouri.
Yep, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with you. All right, number 2 is number 11 Kentucky, 6-0, 4-0 in the SEC. And they're going on a rude awakening tour to Georgia, 6-0, 4-0 in the SEC. 2:30 start there on CBS. Georgia favored by 23.5. It's a big number.
Man, that is a big number. 23.5.
Yeah, according to Gabe's.
So that's what we're going by, 23.5.
Yep.
Man,
I think it's too big of a number.
I do. I think Georgia's just. I'm going to take Kentucky in 23.5 points.
I am too.
That's so many points.
And I know they can beat them by that much, but I'm giving Kentucky a little respect with their undefeated record through 6 games.
Oh, I think Georgia wins.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be, but 23.5 for a team that's undefeated.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I mean, I'm probably going to regret it, but I'm going to take the points.
We may both regret it, but I'm with you there. All right, number 13, Ole Miss, 4-1, 1-1 in the SEC at Tennessee. I think you and I are different on this one. 6:30 start. They're from Neyland Stadium, SEC Network. Ole Miss favored by 2.5.
Yeah, I'll take Ole Miss on that. I'm not a believer in Tennessee right now. I know they've had 2 big wins back to back, but they were against a couple of struggling teams. So I'm still not sold on the Vols. I'll take Ole Miss in that one.
I'm going to be different. I'm taking Tennessee.
Okay.
I'm taking Tennessee. Now, I don't know what I want because I kind of want Ole Miss to roll until A&M gets there, but I just think something tells me Tennessee at home has got it cooking.
Well, the way I look at it is always root for the team that you got to play, unless, if they lose, it helps you win a championship. Right. But in this case, it's going to make you look better. I mean, you got to play them anyway.
Right.
So beat a team that looks like they're good. And then secondly, understand Walter Nolan, the big defensive tackle, number 1 recruit prospect in the country, is supposed to be at that game. And I know he's really interested in the A&M. So it's not going to hurt you with Walter Nolan if Tennessee suffers a beatdown.
Yep. All right, let's move along. We've got Auburn 4-2, 1-1 in the SEC at Arkansas, 11 a.m. at Razorback Stadium, CBS game. Arkansas favored by 3.5.
I'll take the Pigs.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm giving the points there. Arkansas is going to win by, I think, more than
touchdown.
3.5.
Yeah, I can see that.
I do. Absolutely. Number 5 is number 20, Florida, 4-2, 2-2 in the SEC at LSU, who is 1-2 in the SEC, 3-3 overall. 11 a.m. kickoff in Death Valley on ESPN. Florida favored by, I think a big number, 10.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take Florida.
I am too.
Who's playing for LSU anymore?
Well, I'm actually taking Florida win, but I think LSU is going to keep it close. Okay. But they have no players left; they're all gone.
Between suspensions and injuries, and then guys that may be injured but are probably just saying why bother. I don't know who's playing for LSU anymore.
I don't either. But I just think it still means something to play in Death Valley. We'll see. We will see. Number 12, Oklahoma State, 5-0, 2-0 in the Big 12. At number 25, Texas, 4-2, 2-1 in the Big 12. 11 a.m. A lot of 11 a.m. games at DKR. Texas favored by 5.5.
Yeah, this is one I've been going back and forth on. I'm going to take Oklahoma State in the points.
You are? Okay.
I just think that how do you just bounce back from the way you gagged that loss last week against Oklahoma? And historically, Oklahoma State gives Texas problems. Now,
sure.
The matchup, I think Texas is a more talented football team, and I think this will really give you an idea what Steve Sarkisian is, if he can get his team to come back. But, man, I'm not saying that they won't necessarily win, Texas, but, man, how do you come back from that and just come back and blow out another team?
I just don't think Oklahoma State's really played anybody. And
Boise State's pretty decent.
Yeah, and Bijan is just a beast playing at home.
Are they going to feed him?
I think they'll feed him.
Because they didn't last
Just
week.
not in the second half. All right, we'll come back with Tico Calzada here on the program on TexAgs Radio. Right now, talk about Chance McClain and Heritage Films. I'm sure Tico's got a similar story to my father, or his parents do, fled Cuba. And I want that story to be told, guys. I do. That's why I have Chance McClain helping us out with Heritage Films. He does documentary films about your parents, your grandparents, your boss, your neighbor, your buddy, whoever it may be. And he does it first class, Netflix-style documentary, behind the scenes, the lights, the camera, the glitz, the glamour. But, he's a good old boy. I mean, he's like one of us guys. He's a big-time Aggie fan, always tweeting about the games. You should follow him there on Twitter. Just Chances and his crew, they do a first-class job. It takes them about 8 to 10 weeks to finish. So Christmas around the corner, you want to jump on that right now. Check out yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Join the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History on Saturday for the 16th Annual Texas Heritage Festival, Boonville Days. Find more information at brazosvalleymuseum.org. Unbound BCS is hosting the annual Not in My City outreach event on Saturday to connect businesses through human trafficking prevention and awareness. Register on Unbound BCS's website for the free event. SHIP International invites you to their 2021 Be the Light Luncheon on Tuesday, October 26th at the Hilton. RSVP at shipinternational.org. You're invited to a masquerade ball benefiting the Boys and Girls Club on Friday, October 29th at Aston Mansion. Purchase tickets online at bgcbv.org. Your home for football with the Fightin' Texas Aggies, Bryan High, the Houston Texans, plus Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night football from Westwood One is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Hello, St. Joseph Eagles fans. Listen to St. Joseph Eagles football throughout the season on KEDC 88.5 FM. St. Joseph Eagles football is brought to you this season by these local businesses: Fast Signs, Strata Auto Repair, Kelly Burt Dozer, Reedfield Meats and Deli, Burnside Services Inc., and Prosperity Bank. Listen to St. Joseph Eagles football on KEDC 88.5 FM. Special thanks to all of our St. Joseph Eagles sponsors.
Hey Texas, this is Eric Burton.
And I'm Adrian Quesada, and we are Black Pumas. We've partnered with Don't Mess with Texas to turn up the message to keep Texas clean.
So come on, join hands and let us be united. Let's all do our part in taking care of our beautiful state roads.
It's time to step up. Together, we can keep Texas litter-free.
Don't mess with Texas, y'all. Peace.
Sponsored by TexDot.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Howdy's Pizza, BCS Tire Pros, Cotton and Oak Home and Style, Cilantro Mexican Grill, and more. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Game day on the Zone starts 3 hours before kickoff with the Twin Peaks pregame show, and it's powered by TexAgs.com. Game day on the Zone is brought to you in part by Gage Gandy Bail Bonds, Bobcat of the Brazos Valley, Tradition, Mobile One Lube, and Frontier Communications. After listening into the pregame show, you can hear every Aggie football game, home road national championship, right here on Sports Radio 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Welcome back. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Apologies for 2 straight days of a terrible voice, trying to sound like a normal human being, but I think I'm on my way back, OB. Is it sounding a little It still sounds terrible.
No, you sound fine.
Yeah, it sounds bad. It sounds real bad. But you know what sounds good? Going to the BCS hotline. Tico Calzada joining us here on the program. Mr. Calzada, how are you, sir?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning from St. Louis, in fact. So I apologize for the hotel background, but yeah, I made my way here about midnight last night, so ready to go.
Well, I did want to ask you, how's this week been for you the last 7 days or 6 days or so, just with all the hypeness that happened on Saturday and the after party, I should say?
Well, it's a parent's view. It's been quite a roller coaster. I would say we're at a high, no doubt. But it has been a wonderful feeling, and a lot of friends and family, as well as many people that we don't know, reaching out. So it very proud of the team, Zach, the coaching staff, and how things came together for them. So it has been just a wonderful week.
What was it like being a parent up there and knowing that your son had been struggling and that there had been some criticism, and then just watching it with every completion? I just wonder if you can express what your emotional state must have been like.
Well, I would be telling a fib if I said I wasn't talking to God rather often. And that's been consistent through the last couple of weeks. But that said, you actually take things play by play, and I don't get too high or too low. I know and have been around this too long with him. But again, each play by each play, and as it began to build and things would go positive and the momentum changes and you start taking a deep breath, you never expect something the next play. You do hope. But the one thing that I observe and I feel very comfortable with is I know when Zach and his teammates, which I've gotten to know extremely well, when their backs are against the wall, amazing things can happen, and we were fortunate enough to see that play out.
So when you're watching Zach there and you see him on the field, and then let's say afterwards, after the rough games, after the great game against Colorado, or the great finish, I should say, what kind of advice as a father are you giving him, and what kind of dialogue are you staying away from football? Are you guys talking about it?
It's a great question, Dave, because my relationship with him has changed as he's moved on to college. He's got his coaching relationships. He's got somebody that he confides in from all the quarterback quote unquote stuff. So I think I do a better job of emulating what my father did consistently. Okay, and I hold my father out as being the consummate sporting parent. He would always wait, no matter. And I swam through college, by the way. So as a swimmer, he would wait for me to approach him, no matter how good or how bad, and allow me to talk as much or as little as I wanted to. And I've tried to change to that approach. Why I didn't do that in high school, I don't know, but I did convert to that in college. And he will come up and at times he'll ask, "What did you think?" But I just want to try to be there for him. It's a different perspective as a parent. I don't know you all's background. I can point towards Ryan there because I had many discussions with Ryan during the recruiting process, and he, I think he shares that perspective because I know he's very much involved in baseball.
How was Zach handling everything up until the Alabama game?
A lot better than I would have, but I think that the coaching staff did a fantastic job in helping to block out the external noise. And to be candid, for every voice that you heard anything negative, and I tend to hear more of that than he does, by the way. He has a very different mechanism to process. But for every voice that you heard that was negative, whether it be on air, written, social media, there had to have been 10 voices reaching out with positive encouragement. And that was after each game. And so that I stress that because as frustrated as you may see people, they're pretty vocal, right? There are many, many, many Aggies that are out there that are extremely supportive, and it's something that my wife and I, as well as my daughter, who intends to play, will be signing to play soccer there starting in January, love about the Aggie Nation.
Tico, let's talk a little bit about Zach as a child. All right, so I'm seeing him make plays at the end of games that are phenomenal, right? The Colorado throw to Spiller, obviously what we saw in his Willis Reed moment against Alabama. But as a kid, did you see signs of this clutch gene at all?
Yeah, he is at his best when his back's against the wall, and that sounds very cliche, but everything from if he were competing for the position to when they were behind the wall to even his run, I think what it epitomizes it best. Now I know that Jimbo and Coach Dickey know this well. Even his senior year, we had a fantastic run, took us to the state semifinals and lost to the eventual state champion. But the reflection there is that the team may not have had the highest collection of talent, but they came together. And I think he just put on a competitor's view of being able to go out there and address whatever the adversity was and somehow find a way past it and exceed people's expectations. He's always had that perspective. He has dreamt higher and pushed harder than anything I could have ever imagined. I'm just very proud of that effort.
As his dad and someone, obviously known him and watched him play and know the kind of kid he is, what do you expect to see from him moving forward for the rest of the year?
That's a good question, Olin, because we're in a different environment, right? It's college, it's not high school, and I'm not around him every day anymore, and it's very difficult. You have to understand that the number of hours that these players put in between practice, schoolwork, and then in his position, the film study. He is tied in very much to what the coaches are doing, and I believe he is really following to a T what the coaches are asking him to do. And that's everything from Jimbo's perspective on social media to the time, the coaches that he's spending time with in terms of film study, and also the interaction. I think Jimbo just recently talked about how this team comes together, the challenges because of the portal, but they're extremely tight, and that's not just the first string on the field. It layers and goes down further, so that bond is critical. His connection, and I'd like to throw this out there, his connection to Haynes King, everyone wants to continue to try to push this element of competition, and I understand that. But remaining in the moment is exactly what Zach is best at. I mean, he can block everything out. His connection to Haynes King and candidly the King family is extremely tight. What they've done, not both in their support, but helping to build Zach to be in the best position to address things going forward. And I even include in there the Boast family as well. Blake and his relationship with Zach, the Boast family and their encouragement. That interaction, that level, that commitment to one another is very difficult to penetrate that bond. And that's how I believe he is with the line, the wide receivers group, and the running backs. It's a tremendous bond, and they're pushing together forward. They believe themselves.
Tico, we share a background. My parents fled Cuba in the 60s, and I'm a Cuban American, very proud of it. Can you kind of share with us your family story, your journey from Cuba to the United States?
Sure. So I was born here like yourself. My parents fled in '60. They left at the last minute as Castro was occupying Havana. And in fact, we're so nervous that they had a combination of connecting via Panama and the U.S. with the concept that they may not be able to actually get out in time. So they fled in extremely dire circumstances. In fact, had to literally shove cash into a shampoo bottle because they were letting you leave with very minimal money and a suitcase. So if you can imagine picking up your life and leaving. My grandfather was an owner-operator of several pharmacies, and there were several brothers. One thing to note, we had a David Nuno in the family, but on the other side, he actually remained in Cuba and was the voice of Radio Marti, the Havana station that communicated everything for Castro. But anyhow, my parents came to the U.S. They were sponsored by a church group in St. Louis. In fact, I'm going to have an opportunity to stop by Webster Groves Christian Church today. They started my parents on their journey, establishing them in jobs. Mother's a registered nurse. Dad was working in warehouse distribution position, and ultimately ended up moving to Atlanta several years later to reconvene with the remainder of the family. And so the story goes, mother was a lifetime nurse. Father was one of 3 brothers that came to the U.S., all baseball players, by the way. And that's where Zach gets his hand-eye coordination, not from the swimmer, who's the father, and established themselves in Atlanta to raise us. And, putting everything forth to give their family, my brother and I, the opportunity to pursue our passion, our dreams. I had an opportunity to pursue when I didn't care for baseball, swam. My father was very much an advocate of athletics and academics together. And so I had an opportunity to swim, thought I was going to go through the SEC, ended up at Tulane, and was able to swim there, earning All-American. And, having my father through that entire journey, step by step, and my mother was the primary breadwinner, was a fantastic journey. But that's their support. We turned around and tried to do the same thing. Colleen, my wife, and I, with our children, helping them to pursue their passions, both academically and athletically, and here we are.
I did not know you were an All-American swimmer. So I would be curious to ask you, in the realm of sports, what is the greatest moment that you've ever experienced?
I did not make my way to the Olympics, but I did get to NC2As. And let me clarify, it was All-American honorable mention. I'd be remiss not to clarify that. But I was at NC2As, and I say circa late 1980s, and I had Matt Biondi on the blocks, who was the premier swimmer at that time. And I do remember preparing to enter the water. It was a pretty exciting national event that was at the NC2As. And literally, as I'm getting ready to take off, I looked down. My body was disconnected from my legs. I couldn't feel anything. And I just remember thinking at the moment, how was I actually going to move forward? I ultimately entered the water and was very happy. But that was the most surreal moment by far. Many other experiences. Oh, I do have one. I'll share this with you. I had an opportunity to swim against University of Alabama. We were at Alabama, and swimming against actually a former swimming colleague, buddy, who we remained in close contact. Long story short, I ended up beating him in 200 free. I remember getting out of the pool. It was not expected, and the coach over there being very upset with him, and you can see it visible in front of everybody. Translate that to today, and it was a very sweet victory Saturday, taking me back to that.
Beating Alabama is just a family tradition.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Tico, last thing for you, if I can. How exciting is it for you to have Carolyn coming to school here and playing soccer for Coach G, and you have Zach here quarterbacking at A&M?
In all candor, it's a bit surreal. Coach G embodies everything that you expect of the Aggie culture. He's a tremendous individual, and I will say this: in both of my kids' processes or recruiting processes, we were looking for them to establish relationships in addition to understanding the culture at each of the schools that they were considering. She had her own set of opportunities, and I always like to stress that this was her opportunity. It was disconnected from anything Zach had to do. Coach G looked at her talents and tried to understand where it fits in, which is really important in soccer because Coach G does not actually field as large a team as many others do. So each position truly is indeed critical. So I'm very proud of what she did, but more importantly, how she came about that decision. And as parents, we couldn't be more proud and more excited.
Well, I hope to shake your hand one day soon, sir, and congratulations on this great week. And we hope for a lot of big things from Zach here in the future, and Carolyn.
Thank you all, and thank you for the work you do. I know that from the press perspective, you have to give that position out there, but we appreciate your coverage and know that the Calzadas are with you.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate your time here on the BCSI hotline. Tico Calzada.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too, sir. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoyed that. So, and I think my parents are probably listening. So they're like, I'm wondering if I'm related to this David Nuno who did Radio Martí. My dad's going to be like, don't you know that story? So we'll find out here soon. But right now, Pumpkin Palooza back this weekend for the 9th year in the Brazos Valley. The festivities taking place starting tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow and Sunday. The weekend's going to include Pumpkin Palooza Trail Run. That's going to happen tomorrow morning. The Fall Harvest and Pumpkin Palooza Festival during the day on Saturday and on Sunday. And, of course, the Milliken Music Festival Saturday evening. You can purchase all of your tickets at pumpkinpaloozabcs.com. Make sure you go by there. It is a great event. I drove by, picked up our veggies just the other day, and saw them setting up for it. It's going to be a wonderful time. Please visit pumpkinpaloozabcs.com for more details.
Your home for Texas A&M football is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone. The Zone.
Howdy, Ags. This is Dr. Krishna Shanmugam from BCS Eye Associates. I'm a fellowship-trained cornea and glaucoma specialist and eye surgeon, but most importantly, fighting Texas Aggie class of 2007. I was born in Aggie, raised in Aggie, and now back in the Brazos Valley to serve Aggieland, the incredible place that made me the person that I am today. We're the only fellowship-trained glaucoma, cornea, and cataract surgeon in town, and would be delighted to take care of you locally for your eye exam and your eye surgery needs. Give us a call to schedule an appointment today with Dr. K at BCS Eye Associates at 979-701-2020 or visit mybcsi.com.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Blue Baker, Scoots, Game Exchange, El Mundo del Taco, Pure Bliss, and more. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Howdy, y'all. This is Cullen Gillespie, former 12th man. I've always tried to help my team on and off the field, and now I'd like to help Texas A&M fans like you cut their electricity bills in half. Yep, in half. It takes less than 5 minutes and you'll save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars every year. 90% of Texans overpay for electricity, so don't be one of them. Sign up today at EnergyOgre.com and use code GILLY, G-I-L-L-Y, for a free month of service.
Hello, St. Joseph Eagles fans. Listen to St. Joseph Eagles football throughout the season on KEDC 88.5 FM. St. Joseph Eagles football is brought to you this season by these local businesses: Fast Signs, Strata Auto Repair, Kelly Burt Dozer, Reedfield Meats and Deli, Burnside Services Inc., and Prosperity Bank. Listen to St. Joseph Eagles football on KEDC 88.5 FM. Special thanks to all of our St. Joseph Eagles sponsors.
The Liucci Hour Happy Hour is a must part of any Aggie football season. Join Billy Liucci of TexAgs and Zach Taylor, the Infomaniac, every Monday and Thursday at 6 at the Tap, or listen in right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Liucci Hour Happy Hour every Monday, Thursday at 6 is brought to you by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Also brought to you in part by B&B Automotive. It's the Liucci Hour Happy Hour.
It's Larry from Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show. Win, lose, or draw, the legend is going to call, baby. This is unacceptable at the University of Alabama. I don't care what McElroy, I don't care what any of the experts come on here and say, because we suck.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
Welcome back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Having a good old time here, breaking things down. Really enjoyed our conversation there with Tico Calzada, Hector Calzada, but he likes to go by Tico. Just a great conversation. Getting to know, I really enjoyed the part where he shared the relationship that Zach has with Haynes. I thought that was very cool to hear. And really with Blake's family as well. It was just very, very nice. It is now time to bank on it, presented by Vera Bank. Authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. You can learn more at verabank.com. OB, what are you banking on?
Well, I suspect I know what you're banking on, even though I don't, but I think I do.
You think you got an idea?
So I'm going to go a different direction.
Okay.
And I'm just going to, I'm banking on that defense to play a really strong game and maintain that pass rush. A&M had 4 sacks last week. I'm banking on them equaling, or if not bettering, that number this week.
Okay.
How's that?
Well,
doing something different.
What do you think I'm going to bank on? Because I don't think you got it.
Really? Because you've already said you wanted to see 300 yards rushing.
Well, okay, so you're on the so you can bank on this, and I didn't use that as a number, but you're going to bank on the defense playing lights out, but the most balanced game from A&M that we've seen this year. So if that means 200 yards passing from Zach and 275 yards rushing or 300 yards rushing, it's going to be a very balanced attack, and A&M's going to play 4 really good quarters against Missouri. It might be tighter than we want the game to be, but not tight, if that makes any sense.
I think the guy that's really going to have a big game, I mean, I think Spiller will, but I think for some reason I got A-Chain on the mind, and I think it's because the difference in speed. I think there's going to be some big plays from Devon A-Chain.
Yeah, they're going to be able to feast on that defense. The question is, can A&M not allow what happened against Mississippi State to happen? Do not allow these dinks and dunks.
I think they learned their lesson.
Hopefully they did. Hopefully you just attack the quarterback. You're good at that. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Tomas Romo.
Lansing Round Mountain is his headlines after the Missouri game. Aggies follow Bama victory with complete road win against Missouri. And David, I'm banking on this A&M defense containing Tyler Beatty for under 75 yards rushing.
Write it down. What are you supposed to say?
Book it.
Book it. All right. By the way, if you guys have not listened, Tomas has got a podcast that he's doing for us.
Everybody has a podcast except me.
Well, he was trying to get you, but your publicist said you wouldn't go on his show. So, but he's doing a wonderful job. Really doing a good job. You want a podcast?
I don't really want a podcast.
Well, your podcast is in written form.
I would want a podcast if I could say anything I wanted.
You can do that just away from TexAgs.
Yeah, right. So I would probably get myself in trouble if I had a podcast.
All right, man. Some final thoughts here as we're going to be heading out in a couple hours to Houston and then to Missouri.
To St. Louis, yeah. We're going to have some dinner out on the Hill, which is the Italian neighborhood.
Okay.
That's very famous. And my friend and former co-worker, Tom Deanhart, a longtime college football writer, lives in St. Louis, and he recommended a place. So maybe we'll run into some Aggies out there. Some Italian Aggies.
Well, Mr. Calzada apparently is already there, so hopefully we'll run into him.
You could have called him and asked him to join us.
I'll name drop. I'll text. I'll do it. I'll be like, I'm talking to Mr. Calzada.
I'm envious. You get the chance to talk to people from your own heritage.
I love that. Yeah.
Like if we ever find anybody 100% white trash to talk to,
no.
I can
get you some rodeo clown numbers, Olin.
Oh, man. All right. Hey,
you reckon?
Billy Liucci in studio, I think, coming up here in a moment. What's that?
VeraBank is open and we are excited to serve you in College Station. Hi, this is Erica Archer, Treasury Management Officer at VeraBank, and I specialize in helping businesses run their day-to-day operations more efficiently, saving you valuable time. Our team's job is to make yours easier. So give us a call or come by and see us off of Highway 6. At VeraBank, you have a team of genuine bankers on your side, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. VeraBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
Want to listen online? Not sure of the prize rules? Would you like to learn more about your favorite host? Go now to zone1150.com. Zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan. Aggieland's home for sports.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Schools in Iola were on lockdown yesterday afternoon for about 90 minutes. Grimes County Sheriff Don Sowell says that followed a citizen's report of seeing someone firing a gun about a half-mile south of the Iola Elementary School. The sheriff tells our sister station Navasota News that deputies who combed the area found no one.
We checked with people that were in the area at the time it was called in, utility workers, etc. Nobody recalled hearing any shots. We presume it was a valid call.
The sheriff says the lockdown, which began just after 2 p.m., lasted until just before 3:30. The College Station City Council will be looking at regulating outdoor concerts in residential neighborhoods. That's after Linda Harvell reported last night that in her neighborhood last weekend, there was a professionally produced concert at Park Place and Dexter south of the Texas A&M campus.
Had a commercial sound stage with speakers and lights. I was told it's a private party. I don't care. It was in a neighborhood where dozens of residents were affected by the noise.
City Manager Brian Wood says the concert was shut down for violating the city's noise ordinance. 2 state lawmakers representing Texas Tech have filed legislation that could redistribute money from the Permanent University Fund, which manages more than $67 billion in endowment and operating funds for the A&M and University of Texas systems. At this week's A&M Faculty Senate meeting, System Chancellor John Sharp said the proposed legislation, which he says will not move in this special session, would not affect the A&M system. HJR and SJR 9 calls for a public vote on a constitutional amendment to move half the money the UT system gets to other state schools. Currently, 1/3 of PUF money goes to the A&M system and 2/3 to the UT system. To get a public vote, it will take approval of 2/3 of state lawmakers. For more news, go to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
This is Aaron Dawson.
And I'm Olivia Dawson.
Won't you join the Folds of Honor and Allen Academy by supporting the annual Cadet Golf Classic and Patriot Dinner hosted at Miramont Country Club, Sunday, October 17th through Tuesday, October 19th.
The Cadet Golf Classic is an 18th-hole, 4-man scramble designed to raise scholarship funds for the families of fallen and disabled veterans through the Folds of Honor, as well as financially supporting Allen Academy, an independent school in Bryan.
For more info or to register, please visit thecadet.org, and thank you for your support.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Presented by Polaris Fund Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country. And Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Polaris Fund Center, where you can get a $500 rebate on any 450 or 570 Model A TV. Or $2,000 cash back on a Polaris XP1000. Polaris Fund Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC. And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays from 2 to 4 on The Zone.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. 21st ranked Texas A&M football is in Columbia tomorrow, paying a visit to Mizzou. Now, the Tigers are winless in SEC play, but Coach Jimbo Fisher says they can't be overlooked.
They provide different pressures. They blitz. They play a lot. They mix up their coverages on defense, on offense. He does a great job. I mean, his running schemes, his counters, his stretches, his play action. He's a great trick play guy. He's always got eye violations and constant motions and things he does. They're very dynamic on offense. They're physical on defense. The front plays very hard. Linebackers can run. Secondary guys, they lost one corner here recently, but the safeties and they tackle well. They play very good at home. There's a ton of things we can go on and on and on about. I mean, and the special teams are good. I mean, Missouri is a good football team.
Jimbo and the Aggies will look to get the better of Mizzou tomorrow, and the teams kick off at 11 a.m. right here on The Zone. Aggie women's soccer is back in action this evening as it welcomes Alabama to town for senior night. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock at Ellis Field. And men's tennis players Austin Abbott and Anish Srinath picked up wins yesterday in the qualifying draw of the ITA Texas Regional. The Aggies return to the court today for the main draw at the George P. Mitchell Tennis Center. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
The best is yet to come in College Station.
Is down, it is up, and the fight Texas Aggies take down the top-ranked Tide 41-38. Number one goes down.
Join us Saturday. The Aggies visit the Missouri Tigers. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. on your home for Aggies football, the Texas A&M Sports Network. Listen to Aggie football on 1150 a.m. and 93.7 FM. Online at radioaggieland.com or tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, having a good old time. Billy will be here with us here shortly, and as we continue to get closer to the Missouri game, I do want to reset the topic out there. If you want to discuss what the headline is going to be, we do that on Fridays typically. You can do that at 979-693-1150. That is the A&B text line. You can also do that on the BCSI hotline, that same number, 979-693-1150. Those are the two ways to get into the show. One of the things I wanted to talk about that I actually had prepared to talk about tomorrow, but we did not get into it, was Antonio Johnson. And the reason I wanted to bring him up is he's just been so good for A&M so far. He's one of those guys that you notice him when he's out there on the field. In his last 2 games, 21 tackles, 15 against Mississippi State, which is a product of obviously them throwing so much, 6 against Bama. Against Colorado, he had 7 pass breakups, which was huge for them. In Arkansas, he had a tackle for loss, a tackle and a half for loss, played great with 8 tackles. But he's just an energy player, really just brings the heat over and over. And I've really enjoyed watching his maturation, how he's gotten things done. He is just a real nice player. And, the defense has kind of done the roller coaster that the A&M season has done, right? There's been some very high moments and a couple of questionable moments. But he has been a consistent player for that A&M defense. Really been happy for him. And, when you consider what the Ags are up against here this upcoming weekend, they're going to need him. They're absolutely going to need him. And okay, thank you very much. Let's do this. Let's go to the BCSI hotline. I always get, distracted. The great Billy Liucci is joining us here on the program. Good morning to you, Billy. How are you, sir?
I'm great, David. How are you?
I'm great. I couldn't tell if that was an angry great or a satisfied great.
No, it's a good. It was like just I'm trying to talk. You guys have been very morose this morning. I was listening, and I thought I was listening to, if I'm going through my XM and I find doctor talk radio or something, they're talking about, knee surgery or whatever the latest methods and colonoscopies are, something like that. It was just very and then I realized it's because he can't talk. While you're in such a low tone, you've lost the voice this week.
Yeah, I have. It's coming back. The kids told me I sounded terrible last night, but I don't know if you heard yesterday. Yesterday it was bad yesterday.
Well, what I don't understand is, walk me through this, as we like to say. I was oh yeah, it's post-Bama. Whenever there's a big game like that over the years, I've typically lost my voice a lot.
Yeah.
And even I've got a little bit of that going this week, but a lot of times, once a fall or every couple of years, I'll lose it like you did. And it's not because I'm cheering and screaming, but it's because you're sitting there and you don't realize how loud it is down on that field for 4 hours. So even conversations from 3, 4, 5, 6 feet away, you're yelling. It's kind of like Damani Richardson was kind of going through that with me the other day about those hand signals. And, I can't hear this person this far away. But then I realized you're in the press box, so y'all aren't dealing with that. So then I was just you must have just lost your voice.
I'll walk you through it. So a couple things. I don't know if it had anything to do with the game on Saturday night, although I'm sure there was some loud talking in the last 7 minutes we were on the field and some celebration.
Yeah.
But I lose my voice probably once a year in the fall as well. And when you host a 3-hour radio show and you're doing radio or TV for 7 days a week and you do the SEC show, you just talk a lot. So I noticed it Tuesday. By the time I was doing the SEC show, I told Dalton, man, I'm worried I'm going to lose my voice if I keep talking. And lo and behold, Tuesday night, I lost my voice. And then Wednesday, I had nothing in the morning. Then like an idiot, I go to the kids' soccer practice on Wednesday night. And, this voice, I can't get very loud. I'm trying to talk to Annalise, give her parent coach, which is against the rules, but I did it anyway. And I have to talk loud, and I lost even more voice. So that's how we got here, Billy.
So you did not follow Mr. Calzada's advice?
No. If you heard, what he said was he changed when Zach got to college. So I still have time.
I got you. There you go.
Hey, so how are we feeling here?
That was a great interview, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed it. He was very insightful, and I just think he shared all the emotions. This week we've had, obviously, Seth Small's dad on the show, Rick Small, and now Mr. Calzada, Hector Calzada on the show, just showing the emotions that parents go through during the games that I think a lot of us can really relate to. But how are you feeling here on a Friday?
I'll tell you, by the way, a couple of TexAgs dads also you can get that would be good. Or I know Jalen Wademeyer family's on there, and Fred Spiller, my college buddy, would be nice. But also Henry Green will be the most entertaining of them all, I can assure you. Henry's great. So go ahead and put those on your list, on your to-do list. And then at some point we've got to get either Mama Foster or Bryce's brother Braden on there, who's a regular on TexAgs. So.
Well, I think we're going to make this a regular thing, talking to the parents.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I think everybody loves it.
It's been good. So how are we feeling today on a Friday, the day before the game against Missouri? You know, obviously the Alabama thing for the players ended a long time ago. But as we get closer to this game, how do you feel that they're going to be revved up to go?
Yeah, it sounds like they've had a really good week of work, and that's good. I was interested to hear how that went. You can imagine that Jimbo probably was on them pretty good to make sure that happened. You know, those are the easier weeks to coach. I would think it's the harder to where you're just nervous. Like, man, I hope that they're not still back in that mode. But the easiest in terms of being able to do whatever you need to get their attention. But it sounded like a really good week. You know, Zach practiced all week. You know, he got banged up there in that Bama game. But like we said, when he was dancing after the game, we felt good about it. But I'm sure he was a lot more sore coming about Monday. So it wouldn't have been like a sure thing for us to just assume on Sunday, Monday that he was going to play. But he's practiced all week with the first team regular. So he's got to be kind of on cloud nine still in terms of confidence. You know, he's got to put that work in, but the confidence, certainly he has got to be feeling like a different guy out there this week. And probably same with a lot of the guys on the offense. So I'm feeling like, look, I want to see, we'll talk more about this later, but I want to see Spiller and A-Chain run wild in this one. And I know Missouri can't be as bad against the run as they've been. I know they'll line up and try to trick things up a lot more than Alabama did and create mental confusion for this still growing Aggie front. But I want to see A&M come out and just physically go out there and impose their will on both lines of scrimmage. And the other thing is get after Bazelak a little more than they did with Rogers and make it more like Bryce Young, because Bazelak can go off. But if they go more like Bryce Young, I think they could create multiple turnover game again for the second week in a row and win that one comfortably.
Billy, this is probably not a fair question right now, but we've been discussing it on the show this week. Who is the real A&M? Are they the team that we saw against Alabama? Are they the team that has kind of gone up and down throughout the year? Are they somewhat in the middle, or are we still waiting to see?
I think, hold on, Nuno, one second. Keep talking.
I will continue to talk with this great voice, and as we kind of investigate where A&M is this year, and I will, for eating some time, tell you what I think. I think we are closer to the team that beat Alabama. I'm not saying that you're going to get that level of play every week, but I think you're closer to that because the offensive line figured something out. And to me, it all starts there. Go ahead, Billy.
No, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you on that. I don't think they're going to come out and play like they did against Bama. I mean, I think that was the best that they can play right now at this point in the season. That was Texas A&M at their best. Like, I'm sure they go through some plays and go, no, if we would have done this, this, and this, we would have. But I'm just talking about intensity, clutch play at the perfect time, just winning their one-on-one battles, making big plays, running the ball, efficient and good in the passing game, guys getting open, guys making catches, the defense getting pressure, getting some creating turnovers. I think that was as good as they could play right now. Now, I think in a few weeks they could be even better. Like, I think that was just kind of like, look, they could do that every week and defend the run a little better, tackle a little better, cover a little better, run the ball a little better. All of those things that they did pretty well in that game, but they could do them even better. But right now, I think that was as good as they can play, and now they can build off of that. If they build off of that this week and next and go into a bye, by the time those November games roll around, this team could look every week like a top 5 team in a playoff contender, and that's where that's David, where they're trying to get.
Billy, what is it about Jimbo's teams that, for some reason, really do play better as the year goes on? I mean, we've seen it at least.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I don't really. That's a good question for him, and I bet he'll give you an answer and stuff. But I just don't know that. I just don't know that it's a. Thank you. I don't know that it's a. That there's a specific answer to it. You know, everything ties into it. I think a lot of it, David, especially when he's got a young quarterback, ties into how great he is at developing young quarterbacks. So I think they take quantum leaps as the season goes on, typically under him. And I also think there's just a way about him. And, you know, we sit there and we go, and by the way, you got to give a lot of credit to Jerry Schmidt and the strength and conditioning staff as well. Anytime a team can kind of peak as the season goes on and peak at the end and get better and better. But I think part of it has to do with we get a little peek into his methods, you know, during the season when we're meeting with the media and stuff. And you listen, and if you really listen to him talk, he doesn't just spew garbage, nonsense about the faceless, nameless, one game at a time. It's the next game, yada, yada, yada. His players believe that too. And that approach generally pays off, you know, like as the season goes on, because they ride less of a roller coaster, and it truly is more of a climb. You think of it that way. And I think that's a big part of it, is just that they take it in these 1 week increments. They didn't build Alabama up as much as maybe some other teams would. Like, take, for example, Arkansas and what they did with the Texas and A&M games, and it served them very well. And Sam Pittman with that much intensity and emotion. But it'd be interesting to see how many weeks they can sustain that. You know, it is because Arkansas should beat the brakes off Auburn this week. But they've been playing at a really high level for a few weeks now. Now, what's the second half of their season going to look like? That remains to be seen. We'll see. But Jimbo's formula works, and they do get better as the year goes on. And that was important this year. And that's why I thought Arkansas and Mississippi State were going to be the definers of this season, because they weren't peaking yet. And if they could have won those games before peaking, I thought that, you know, but that was with me thinking they were going to lose to Alabama. I mean, the way they were playing, I was like, they're not going to beat Bama at home. So they've got to. But these two games are going to define their whole season. And they lost those two, but they beat Bama. And I do think, outside of the championship ramifications, and maybe even including the championship ramifications, that 2-for-1, quite honestly, Nuno, if the team turns this into a launching pad, I'll take that 2-for-1. And what it means big picture and what it means for the program. But they have to follow up on it starting this weekend. I don't even mean they have to win out. But if they can go and lose no more than, say, one game the rest of the way, that 2-for-1 was I'd take it. And the second part of that is it might give you a better chance to advance to the SEC title game than had you lost to Bama. You know, either way, you're needing Like, look, had you lost to Bama, you would need Alabama to lose 2 other games. Now that I understand you'd rather beat Mississippi State and control your own destiny, but I'm saying in this 2-for-1 trade, now you only need Bama to lose 1. If Bama loses one, unless it's to, say, Arkansas, and even then the Hogs could lose another one. But if Bama loses one and A&M wins out, they're probably playing for the SEC championship. And if it's not Arkansas that Bama loses to, they are playing for the SEC title.
What an amazing turnaround that would be. All right, Billy, hold it right there. We'll come back to you here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Right now, I want to remind you to text radio to 1-833-638-6248. That is 1-833-638-6248 for your chance to win the big Friday giveaway, courtesy of our friends at Aggieland Outfitters. And during the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to unveil that winner here today. And here it is, the Texas A&M Champion Core Power Blend hoodie. As I try to find the top to the hoodie, my kids will wear hoodies in the summer. Like legit. I think that's like a thing that kids do now. They love wearing freaking hoodies. And this is a beautiful one right here. They will wear it. It can be 98 degrees down and put my hoodie on with shorts and like Crocs. Dude, what are you doing? That's what they do. But they don't care. This is a beauty. $49.99. You can get it at Aggieland Outfitters. Show off that A&M pride here around town or wherever you may be, or when you go to Kyle Field. It's got the beveled A&M logo on the maroon across the front. There's a Texas A&M written down the sleeve as well. Also a front pocket. It is very comfortable, very thick material, but soft at the same time. They do it great at Aggieland Outfitters. Go check it out. It is the A&M Champion Core Power Blend hoodie at $49.99.
You're listening to The Zone. Aggieland's all sports station.
The King and Queen invite you to the 47th Texas Renaissance Festival. Now open weekends through November. Deliciously enticing food, games of skill and chance, plus the finest actors and musicians in the realm. Join Bud Light in a toast to the Texas Renaissance Festival. Huzzah! And be there for a day of adventure, merriment, magic, and romance. Tickets available at texrenfest.com.
Howdy, y'all. This is Cullen Gillespie, former 12th man. I've always tried to help my team on and off the field. And now I'd like to help Texas A&M fans like you cut their electricity bills in half. Yep, in half. It takes less than 5 minutes and you'll save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars every year. 90% of Texans overpay for electricity, so don't be one of them. Sign up today at energyogre.com and use code GILLY, G-I-L-L-Y, for a free month of service.
Join the American Heart Association for the Brazos Valley Go Red for Women Luncheon. On Thursday, November 4th, you'll learn how you can take charge of your heart health and empower others to do the same. Guest speaker is well-known humorist and motivational speaker Sally Baskey. Go Red for Women is presented nationally by CVS Health and locally by the Donald A. Adam Family Foundation. Go to brazoscountygored.heart.org for more. See you November 4th.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BUY for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY.
Game day on the Zone starts 3 hours before kickoff with the Twin Peaks pregame show, and it's powered by TexAgs.com. Game day on the Zone is brought to you in part by Gage Gandy Bail Bonds, Bobcat of the Brazos Valley, Tradition, Mobile One Lube, and Frontier Communications. After listening into the pregame show, you can hear every Aggie football game, home road national championship, right here on Sports Radio 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Yo, It is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go back to the BCSI hotline where we can find Billy Liucci, the co-owner and executive editor of TexAgs.com. Luch, got a Astros text message for you. I don't know if you want to get into that now, but asking how many games is it going to take for the Astros to win and get to the World Series, and also how many years is it going to take to lock up Carlos Correa?
This is what?
How many years will it take to lock up Carlos Correa for the Astros?
Oh, God. I've never thought they would re-sign Carlos, to the point where I was joking with Bronny after when I was getting to know him after his rookie season. I'd always joke with Bronny, like, no way they're going to keep him. And then certainly a year, 2 years, even 3 years ago, I thought there was no way. He'll be in New York. He'll be in, New York, Atlanta, L.A., Boston, something like that. But and I always lean towards. Doesn't Carlos just seem like he seems like he would just be just the king of the city in New York and or Boston. But he is the king of the city in Houston, and it is one of those deals. It's like Billy Gillespie, should he ever have gone to Kentucky. You got a great thing going in this city, man. Like an incredible thing. Not just individually. He's with J.J. Watt gone and Harden. To me, like it's no question that Carlos Correa is the biggest sports. Am I wrong? He's the biggest sports star.
I don't know, Altuve.
I know everybody loves Altuve too. They do, but I just think Carlos has become such the alpha of that team and that locker room, the leader. Like, yeah, Altuve's beloved, but I think Carlos is a rock star, absolutely. But with that said, I don't trust the Astros to get it done, and I know that Carlos and his side, they're not gonna. I just don't see him taking the hometown discount. I just don't, and
he doesn't have
so
to.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, well, they're gonna have to pay him, right?
Yeah, and I'll say this: I think it's been kind of.
What do you think?
I've always thought he was going to move on since his rookie year as well, because of the kind of contract he signed and the kind of headliner that I think he is. I will say this though: I love him paired up with Altuve. What I mean by that is you've got one guy that is humble and quiet and gets talked about, and I was going to use a word I shouldn't use, but you know what I'm saying, and Altuve about his size and the cheating that he didn't even take place in and whatnot. He's just always nice. And you got Correa, who's also very polite, by the way, but when you doubt him or you talk about him, he is not scared to say what he thinks, and I think those two together work phenomenally. So from that perspective, I would hate, and I just like the kid. We've watched him grow up. I'm just a really good guy. We'll see how that turns out. But that came on the A&B text line from
look,
us.
if Springer can leave, then Carlos damn sure can leave, unfortunately. And I think he will, but we'll see. I hope he doesn't, but I think he will.
Yeah,
we shall see. These things, for this to have gone on for what is it? Is it 6 or 7 years now? Is it 6? Yeah, it's 6, because that Royals, when they lost to the Royals, was his rookie season. For it to go on for 6 years at this level is pretty incredible. And if you re-signed Carlos and kept Altuve, Bregman, and Carlos just for starters there. I know there's more than that, but and Lance, who I guess they just are just kept. There's no reason to think they're going to go anywhere. It could be a decade-long run, and I don't remember seeing anything like this. I think they need a second World Series championship, and they were so close a couple years ago. I think they need a second World Series championship to kind of cement that legacy, in terms of, this is one of the teams, not just people in Houston and in Texas, but Major League Baseball, kids growing up. Like I was with, the Bash brothers and the Oakland A's, and I think they only won one, but the Yankees, obviously, teams that you remember as a kid. sports, the Cowboys with Aikman and Jimmy Johnson, like those teams. I think that they need another title to kind of, not because of the cheating thing, but just to 5 straight years in the ALCS and a couple World Series championships. That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Hey, Billy, I want to ask you this before we hit a break on Zach Calzada. The kind of just the kind of guy he is, man. Like what I've seen, and again, we don't get to really talk to him, but what I've seen from him, from the abuse that he was taking on social media, which I don't know how much he read, but I know, people around him were probably reading it, to be able to get knocked down and stand up, and he actually doing that in the Alabama game, got knocked down, came right back. I mean, just what does it say about him?
Oh, I mean, it says what you heard about him in high school, and you're seeing it play out. Like when he's playing with a broken ribs and a punctured lung, and he finishes out and wins a game for his team. And remember, I don't know, I didn't hear the whole interview earlier, but remember, Zach was like 5'8", 5'9", or something, really short when he first got on varsity, and wasn't even, I don't think he was even a starter yet. And then he earned the job really young, and then he hit a growth spurt, and all of a sudden he becomes a college prospect there. So he's resilient. I think he's really laid back and easygoing, which I think that kind of made that thing of like, oh, hey, get out there, you're playing. It's Colorado, go, you're the starter now. Your buddy just broke his leg, and Haynes King, and it's your job now. Like, I think for his personality type, that made that whole thing a hell of a lot harder. Just to kind of snap your finger and he's probably not one of those guys that you snap the finger and say, hey, let's go. It's time. And so you saw it take a couple weeks to, I think, set in and click. And, again, we talked about it. He quietly looked better against Mississippi State, and it got lost in the shuffle because he took a safety to kind of end the game. And I say took when he had no chance to do anything else, but he was at the center of that play and had to walk off the field, and the offense was still struggling, and it all was pointing to him. But he had quietly played better in that football game, made better throws, did some things in the red zone twice, the throw to Weimeyer, the run in for the score. You didn't see coming what you saw against Bama. But him settling in has been a couple weeks in the making, and I think the more and more he plays, the better and better he'll get. And his demeanor, I just think him being laid back and being real popular in that locker room and having good friends has really helped. It helped him kind of just fluff off the noise and go out there and play.
All right, Billy, we'll put you on hold. We'll come back here in a moment. It's time to talk about our friends at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21. In Caldwell and online at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Deals, and nice people. How about that? Deals, nice people. That should be their new slogan because they got great deals. They got very nice people and customer service out the roof. They are just so good when it comes to your purchasing process. Before the process, during the process, after. You're going to get great people. We're going to give you the best deal possible. And if you're trying to trade in your vehicle, they're probably going to give you the best deal out there. There's no probably to it. I'm very confident in that. You should go and just see what they say. You'll probably say, okay, we're all in. And they're all in on you having a great experience there at Caldwell Country. 15 minutes from Bryan to Caldwell, just a short conversation away. But you're going to see the difference when you step on the lot and you start doing business with Zach and the fellows there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, and online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Join the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History on Saturday for the 16th Annual Texas Heritage Festival, Boonville Days. Find more information at brazosvalleymuseum.org. Unbound BCS is hosting the annual Not in My City outreach event on Saturday to connect businesses through human trafficking prevention and awareness. Register on Unbound BCS's website for the free event. SHIP International invites you to their 2021 Be the Light Luncheon on Tuesday, October 26th at the Hilton. RSVP at shipinternational.org. You're invited to a masquerade ball benefiting the Boys and Girls Club on Friday, October 29th at Aston Mansion. Purchase tickets online at bgcbv.org. Your home for football with the Fightin' Texas Aggies, Bryan High, the Houston Texans, plus Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night football from Westwood One is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
There's a Kubota for every job. There's a Kubota for every harvest. There's a Kubota for every task. And at Normandy Tractor, for a limited time only, take the drive to Normandy, Texas, and let Vernon and the boys show you what they have. Get the new Kubota BX 1880 16.6 horsepower tractor and a Kubota loader with a quick attach bucket now through December 31st, 2021. For a cash price of only $12,950, or payments as low as $170 per month. With no money down, based on 0% down, 1.99% APR for 84 months. Normandy Tractor has over 8 acres of Kubota tractors, Kubota RTVs, ATVs, and Kubota mowers to choose from. They're at the corner of Highway 39 and OSR in Normandy, Texas. And remember, nobody beats Normandy Tractor. Nobody.
Now through December 31st, 2021. For warranty terms, see Kubota's limited warranty at KubotaUSA.com or your Kubota dealer.
Join the American Heart Association for the Brazos Valley Go Red for Women Luncheon. On Thursday, November 4th, you'll learn how you can take charge of your heart health and empower others to do the same. Guest speaker is well-known humorist and motivational speaker Sally Baskey. Go Red for Women is presented nationally by CVS Health and locally by the Donald A. Adam Family Foundation. Go to brazoscountygored.heart.org for more. See you November 4th.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Key, I heard you tried out for the NHL since it's back on ESPN. Is this true?
Yes, I did. They had me try out in the middle of the night the other night. I didn't tell anybody, though. I just figured, hey, why not? You know, maybe I'll go out and throw the first puck out or something one day or whatever. Or is it drop the puck? Which one is it?
Throw the puck out? What do you think? That's a puck toss.
Yeah, toss. Drop the puck.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.